All right, this segment is sponsored by the DC Department of Health. This week is National Drug and Alcohol Facts Week. So the DC Department of Behavioral Health is officially launching a new campaign to encourage DC youth to hit pause on substances like alcohol and marijuana.
And instead hit play on activities that make their lives richer and more fun. I recently went to Dunbar High School to learn more. Take a look. Let's talk about the Pause Play campaign. How did this come about? Where did this get started?
Yeah, so we were seeking just to revise some of the campaigns we already had that were focused on marijuana use, underage drinking, and opioid misuse. And so we thought that we would just kind of go out and just get some new information, want to make sure that the content that we were using was correct, the terminology. And in doing focus groups with young people, what we really began to identify was that young people were engaging in drug use because of stress and anxiety. We were coming out of the pandemic. They felt like they had the weight of the world on their shoulder. And so as opposed to just kind of talking about data points and why these drugs are bad for you, we really wanted to hone in on positive alternatives to engaging in drug use. And so some of the programs like Primability and other programs like the District of Columbia, we became aware of. And so as a part of the campaign, really wanted to focus on highlighting these positive alternatives and not just the fact that these programs exist, but how to access these programs as well.
So it talked about how alcohol, marijuana, easy for kids to actually get their hands on. What makes them turn away from that and into maybe some of the activities that you have found?
And so I would say, just highlighting and just raising up the fact that there are these programs that exist, and not just the fact that they exist, but how to access these programs. So we're focusing not just on Primability, but really looking to identify positive programs for young people throughout the entire District of Columbia. So regardless of where you are, what neighborhood you live in, what quadrant of the city, that there's a positive program that you can tap into. We're also highlighting, tapping into a mentor and some of these other activities. And so understanding that marijuana, the presence of marijuana and alcohol is prevalent, as well as even opioids, right? So how do we provide a positive alternative to it? How do we highlight that? How do we talk about where these programs exist, how these programs can be accessed, and certainly highlight these programs so that they are attractive to young people.
One of those programs that's been a big draw for students is Primability, which is run by Coach Alex Clark.
Primability started 2020 during the pandemic. We're looking for different ways to keep kids out of trouble, keep kids active and engaged, just kind of keep them steering on the right path. And so we started this organization really just from donated bikes, just reaching out to people, just trying to find an outlet for a lot of students. Us in particular, we had students that passed away from gun violence, and that was such a rampant thing in the city during that time. So just me personally as somebody who picked up biking and cycling and started seeing all the trails in DC and just seeing how beautiful the city was as somebody who isn't from DC. I just always wondered, have my students have ever seen their city in this form? Thus, the bike program began, and it's just really crazy how it's manifest into what it's become now. So can we clean up all of this stuff? For example, that workbench right there needs a lot of stuff to be put back.
How does it help with the mental health and stress that these students are feeling?
If you talk to most of our students, I think their first thing they would say about how they feel when they ride the bike, they would say that it provides them a sense of freedom. A lot of students they take the metro to school, or they might even walk to school, and so being able to have your own bike, being able to know how to get around the city, especially with DC being so bike friendly now, with there being trails everywhere, there being different bike lanes and bike routes everywhere. They've gotten an opportunity to learn not just about their city, but how to get different places throughout the city, and other resources that we provided for them to make them feel more engaged into what's going on.
Just down the hall, art teacher Zachary Jackson helps his students turn trauma into art.
You see the fist here? So the fist here was a project I came up with to talk about your fist of power. With social and emotional learning, what I do in my class is I focus on bringing the trauma out of the student in a positive way, having them have a voice in the classroom, having them have a safe space and a zenful space. I'm the only teacher on this side of the building and on that hall, so I get a chance to create the space that is safe for students. I rarely ever censor their work. If they have anything they want to talk about, I talk about it. If they want to have anything they want to express, I allow them to express that. One thing that I love about being an art teacher is that I get to sit down with my students and I get to work with my students. You're not just here to pass a test. My class is important because you don't have that stress on you anymore. You come into the course, you come into the classroom, and you know that this is your chance to be a kid again. You know, you get to play around with crayons and markers and glue and paint, and you leave feeling like, I did this and I'm proud of it. I didn't think I could, but I did. And that's the one thing I do want to bring into light, is that a lot of people think that our black and brown students cannot express themselves in that way, but we can.
The teachers are so impactful to getting that through to the students and having them learn in a different way or be able to express themselves in a different way. To learn more about the Department of Behavioral Health's Pause and Play campaign and also other youth substance abuse prevention efforts, you can always go to drugfreeyouth.dc.com.
Nice job.